Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Emily and today I'm in my hoodie because I really just want to be cozy today. I have my Max with me and we're going to be doing my April wrap up. So reading month for April, it was okay. It wasn't like the best reading month. I only read 6 books, but it was still a good month nonetheless. I've had things like my birthday happen and I've just had a lot of things going on, and some for the better, some for the worse, and I just haven't had the most time to read, which is okay. It is okay to not read sometimes. And you know, it's okay to not put blame on us if we're not reading more than what we usually read every month. I think that's fine. Like, we're not gonna always have the time. We want to do things outside of reading. Sorry for all the piles of books as well behind me. Yeah, we're going through some stuff and I really needed film, so there's that. So it's probably going to be behind me for the next couple of videos, but that's okay. And my Max is really energetic right now. As soon as I'm about to film, he's like, let's get the energy out. So let's get on with my wrap up. So I read 6 books this month. All of them except for 1 book was continuing on in a series, so I suppose that's good. At least I'm slowly getting through series nonetheless. So I'll just start with the 2 books that I don't... Oh, 2 books actually that weren't continue, like a 1 standalone, 1 start of a series. Sorry. Anyway, I'll just start with the books I don't have physically at the moment. So the first one was Perfect by Sara Shepard. So that was the 3rd installment in the Pretty Little Liars book series. I honestly can't actually remember too much that happened. Oh, it was Mona's birthday. That's what happened. And pretty much Hannah and Mona aren't really getting along, and yeah, and then Spencer's doing something problematic. Emily's like just trying to figure herself out, and her parents are like, nah, you need to go to a conversion camp. Ari is still in love with a teacher who, spoiler alert, I mean, if you've watched the show, I can't remember if this actually happened in the show, but he gets arrested, so yay for that. Some responsible teenagers actually reported it. Thank you. And Allie's dead, as we know. But it was okay. Yeah, very problematic, but overall it's decent. 3-star would be my best thing for the series at the moment. I don't know if I'll go past the 4th book because I'll finish what I own. Because I don't own after book 4, so maybe I might buy them to finish it off. I don't know. I think it just depends on how much effort I really want to put into it, especially knowing how the show ends. And I can't remember whether the book ends in the same way. I'm not 100% sure. But it's something I'll decide after the 4th book. And next book that I don't own is The Never King by Nikki St. Crowe. So I read this for a book club pick that one of my friends started, and one of them decided to pick this book, so it was interesting nonetheless. I don't usually read books like that typically, so it's a dark retelling. I can't even say if dark is the right word for it. It is definitely a retelling of Peter Pan, but it's insane. It's pretty much, the way I described it is, it's 30% storyline, 70% sex. That's the easiest way to describe this book to you. And pretty much you get to past like the first 3 chapters, there's like 1 sex scene, and then once she gets to Neverland, it's just sex until like right at the end when the plot gets interesting. So I want to continue reading it because of the plot, but the sex doesn't stop apparently, so I don't know if I want to read it. And I also listened to it on audio, so that made it for some very weird trips to work. Definitely, I gave that one a 2-star as well because the plot was decent. Like, it was like, if there was a lot longer and had a lot more time for the plot, I would definitely say it could be a solid 3 to 4 stars. But because of how much sex there was in it and how uncomfortable it was, yeah, 2-star. So, but I still want to continue reading it in some capacity, but I'm just not sure if I really want to. I do know spoilers because one of my friends decided to read, she's up to the 4th book now because there's 4 books in the series, and I don't know how she's read through it, but yeah, she wants to just figure out what happens because it's one of those curiosity things, and I don't blame her. Anyway, moving on. So next book I read, Next, by Brigid Kemmerer. This is the third installment in her Elemental series. This one follows Hunter. He is not a Merrick brother, but he is a fifth, which is someone that possesses all the elements like Avatar. Sorry, the best way to describe the series is a Twilight version of Avatar. That is the best way I can describe this book. I don't know why, but like the mood is like Forks, definitely, and then you got the elements, which is kind of like the Avatar, except it's like reverse. So the people who have like, because there's multiple people who have all the elements, have the power of all the elements, they think they're better than the people who have just the one power. So they're kind of like the Fire Nation, and they're trying to take over all the people who have one power, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but yeah, so that's this book. It was very moody, very teen angsty. I wasn't a huge fan of it in this book. It wasn't that it was teen angst, but at the same time, it was this guy had lost his father. He was trying to figure out what his father's job was and trying to figure out if that was something for him, because he wants to follow in his father's footsteps. And then you got this girl who comes in and is like, oh yeah, well, I'll show you the way. And I'd say, yeah, it was a solid 3 stars. It didn't add too much to the story. Well, it did add a lot to the story itself, but I just don't know if I really resonated with Hunter. I think when I read books, I really want to resonate with characters, and when I can't really resonate with character, it really puts me off. So I didn't really resonate too much with Hunter, and he was also very moody. There was no, scenes of just to break the tension. It was just tension throughout the book, and I just don't know if that was my type of style. Next book is Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen and McManus. I gave this a 4-star. This is also book of the month. I really enjoyed this, actually. It was very enjoyable. I don't read a lot of mystery thriller type books. I wouldn't say this is too thrillery, but there is thriller elements in it. And I would say if you are wanting to get into like mystery, I reckon this would be a good option. I would not recommend reading like Pretty Little Lies, because that is very much a niche in its time kind of book. Even for its time, it's very like raunchy for teen consumption, but this it's definitely for the modern teen, I would say that. But it also gave me like a look into like more mediocre kind of mystery trope, which I'm not too familiar with, so that gave me an opening for that. So I really appreciate that for this book. Next, I read the 12th installment in the Promised Neverland. I gave this a 4. This was more of a transition into the next part in the series, I would say, because we had a bit of a time lapse in there and a little bit of back and forth as to what was happening in the bunker. It's hard to explain what the series is now, 12 books in, like trying to describe what this book is about, because it's like I'm 12 books in. But pretty much it's kind of like if you were harvesting humans instead of animals as meat. That's pretty much the gist of the series. So it goes into chaos after that, definitely. And it's manga, and I would highly recommend for anyone who's wanting to start reading manga, or who just wants to change what they're reading and just have a break of something. No, it's not lighthearted. It is pretty dark, but it has its light moments, definitely. It does a good job of breaking up the dark moments. And next, finally, this is the last book I read this month. I'm still halfway through the book. I'm thinking I will get through it. I've only got about 3.5 hours of the audiobook left, and it takes me about half an hour to and from work. So I reckon I will finish it in decent time. That's my prediction anyway. I'll like in the next 2 days. So 2 to 3 days. Anyway, These Twisted Bonds by Lexi Ryan. This is fantasy fae kind of book. I know the author wrote like adult romance, and this is her first time going into young adult fantasy. So I don't know. I don't know, it's kind of like the same issues I had with the Never King. Pretty much the author really focuses at the moment on just the gazes between characters. Doesn't really focus too much on the actual plot. I feel like I'm getting more about what this girl is feeling rather than what's actually going on, because I'm intrigued as to what's going on with her powers, like following from the first book. I really just want to know what's going on with her, and I feel like I have to read through all the, oh, he's just so darling, we could sense each other's passion within our eyes. I like see the glints, and it's like I don't care. I just want to get to the story, because the story is actually decent. It's this like lusting is what I'm not a huge fan of at the moment. I'd say probably I'll give this a 3-star, because that's where it's seeming like, because I'm like feeling like I'm going over things and not really taking the story as full. So I'd say a solid 3-star for the book. Okay, next, my knitting. We're in blue now, so temperature blanket is going well. So I think we were about here. So pretty much the whole of April was pretty much purple except for like a couple of days, and now it's starting to go into blue, so maybe winter is starting to come through a bit. I don't know if I screwed this part up here, but we'll see how it goes once I do like tomorrow's and the next day after's temperature. But it's getting pretty long now. It's pretty decent, and I love seeing like the temperatures. Like I know here, like where it's blue in summer, that was when I was in Sydney, and I can be like, yeah, that was cool. And then up here, this is when I was in New South Wales for Easter, because it was blue that weekend. So it's kind of cool seeing like the temperature kind of mapped out, and you can see what time of different trips and stuff like that you did. So I think that's really cool. Next is my book blanket. So here it is. So I think I was probably about here. Like it doesn't look like it's growing too much, but it's still looking good. The random blue from the Never King there, and it's like you can see the improvement, which is what I really love about doing these blankets at the moment, is seeing the improvement that I've done over the year. Next, I'll do my movie blanket. So I finished putting all the squares on, so I've actually officially caught up. So ta-da! Can see it. So I'm starting my 5th row of squares, but it's looking really good right now. I know. And there's like an eye there that was for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I had to try and add a googly eye to it. It's not really attached properly, but I'll figure out how to attach it properly. But I want to add little bits like that just to make them distinct, because you can't really add them while you're doing the squares. We can so you know which is what, And finally, got my husband's blanket for all the books he's read this year. Well, he started to read One Piece, so we decided to pick a different colour for One Piece. But I don't know where I started last month. I was probably in the red, somewhere, maybe pink. I don't know. But we're in One Piece now, and we picked a different like pattern of knitting. So this is like one that changes color, so that's for the like water in One Piece, but it's getting pretty long. I kind of regret doing these on the sides though, but I love the size that it's getting to, like here. So I think it was worth it in one way, but I wish I thought about it a little bit more before I did that. But yeah, that was my month of knitting and reading. I hope you did enjoy this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below what was your favorite book of April, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And that's it from me today. I hope to see you next week. Next week's video, I'm gonna leave it as a surprise, because I know I haven't shared it on this account, so I'm keen to share it. See you then. Bye.